In the beginning, there was no space, no time, no before, no after, only a strange, undefined essence, a shimmering nothingness pregnant with everything that would ever exist. From that quantum haze, the universe blinked into being. And ever since that first cosmic breath, humanity has asked one haunting question. What is space really made of? We look around and see space as emptiness, a silent void separating stars, planets, and galaxies. But what if that emptiness isn't truly empty? What if, beneath the stillness of the cosmos, space itself is woven from tiny loops, grains of geometry, the fundamental atoms of reality? What if space isn't smooth at all, but digital, pixelated at a level so small it defies imagination? This is the astonishing idea behind loop quantum gravity, a theory that dares to tell us that the very fabric of the universe is quantized. For more than a century, physics has been torn between two great masters, Einstein and quantum mechanics. Einstein's general theory of relativity describes the cosmos as a grand, continuous stage where planets curve spacetime and galaxies drift through a smooth, graceful geometry. But quantum mechanics tells a completely different story. A chaotic, unpredictable world where energy comes in discrete packets, particles flicker in and out of existence, and nothing is truly certain. These two visions, one smooth, one grainy, have never agreed. Relativity governs the colossal, quantum mechanics rules the microscopic. Each works perfectly in its own domain, but when we try to merge them, when we ask what happens inside a black hole, or at the moment of the Big Bang, the math collapses. Equations explode into infinities. The universe, it seems, hides a secret at its smallest scales. For decades, physicists searched for the key. String theory rose to prominence, proposing that everything, particles, forces, even space, comes from tiny vibrating strings in multiple dimensions. But while string theory captivated imaginations, it remained untested, wrapped in layers of complexity. Meanwhile, a quieter revolution was forming. Simpler, elegant, radical. That revolution was loop quantum gravity. Einstein taught us that space and time are not separate. They are two threads of a single fabric, spacetime. Gravity, he said, is not a force at all. It is the bending of that fabric under the presence of mass and energy. But Einstein assumed that fabric was smooth, continuous, infinite in its resolution. Loop quantum gravity says, maybe not. Maybe space itself is woven from discrete loops, microscopic rings of geometry, stitched together like an invisible cosmic web. Imagine zooming in, past atoms, past quarks, past anything we've ever imagined. Keep zooming until you reach a scale called the Planck length, about 10 to 35 meters, a billionth of a billionth of a billionth of a centimeter. At that scale, the concept of smoothness breaks. Space dissolves into tiny chunks, indivisible units, atoms of space. Each of these atoms is a loop of pure geometry. Together they form a 3D network known as a spin network, a map of how space is knitted together at the quantum level. The nodes of this network represent tiny volumes of space. The links between them represent surfaces or boundaries. And as these loops shift, twist, and connect, they create the illusion of continuous space, just as countless water molecules create the illusion of a smooth ocean. Reality, in this view, is not a continuum. It's a mosaic. The smooth fabric of spacetime is an illusion, a large-scale blur hiding a granular digital structure beneath. Just as matter is made of atoms, and light is made of photons, space itself is made of loops. It's a breathtaking idea, that when you move, you're not gliding through emptiness. You're moving through an active, ever-changing web of quantum geometry. When a planet orbits a star, the loops of space stretch and twist. When light travels through a vacuum, it's riding on an invisible network of vibrating geometry. Gravity, in this picture, is not a force pulling masses together. It is simply the reshaping of the quantum fabric itself. Physicists like Carlo Rovelli and Lee Smolin spent decades building the mathematics to describe this hidden structure. Instead of equations about fields and forces, they describe spin networks and spin foams, strange geometric diagrams that represent how space evolves. A spin network is like a frozen snapshot of space, but if you imagine stacking many of them together over time, they form a spin foam, a four-dimensional web where space and time emerge from the interactions of quantum loops. In this picture, time isn't continuous either. It comes in discrete ticks, quantum moments, tiny frames in the cosmic film. Reality, then, is not flowing but updating. Click by click, loop by loop, the universe is digital at its core. Loop quantum gravity also does something profoundly philosophical. It removes the idea of a background. In classical physics, space is the stage and matter the actors. But in LQG, the stage doesn't exist without the play. The loops of space and the energy within them create each other. There's no where without what. Space isn't a container. It's an active, dynamic participant in reality itself. This also means the universe has a limit to its resolution. Just as your phone screen can't display details smaller than a pixel, the universe cannot define a distance smaller than a Planck length. Try to zoom in further, and the very concept of distance loses meaning. You hit the smallest loop, the pixel of existence. And this revelation leads to extraordinary predictions. If space is quantized, what happens inside black holes, or at the moment of the Big Bang, where spacetime is pushed to its limits? LQG suggests that singularities, those mysterious infinities where physics breaks down, might not exist at all. As matter collapses, the loops of space compress, but only up to a point. When quantum geometry reaches its limit, it pushes back, preventing infinite density. In that moment, instead of collapsing into a singularity, a black hole might bounce. It could transform into a white hole, releasing everything it once devoured into another region of spacetime. If that's true, the death of a star could be the birth of a new universe. And maybe the Big Bang itself wasn't a beginning. Maybe it was a bounce, the rebirth of a universe that had collapsed before ours. An eternal cycle of expansion and contraction, death and rebirth, woven through the quantum threads of spacetime. Yet, as elegant as it is, loop quantum gravity remains a theory. Beautiful, incomplete, and untested. It explains geometry, but not yet the matter fields that fill it. And the Planck scale, where its effects become visible, lies far beyond our current technology. Still, physicists are searching for signs, subtle imprints in the cosmic microwave background, in gravitational waves, in the dying echoes of black holes, that might reveal the grain of spacetime. Even without direct evidence, the philosophical weight of LQG is staggering. If space and time are quantized, then maybe they aren't the ultimate ingredients of reality. Maybe they emerge from something deeper, a timeless, pre-geometric realm beyond comprehension. Perhaps time itself isn't fundamental but an illusion, the way consciousness perceives the evolution of quantum geometry. The past, the future, and the very sensation of now might all be shadows cast by the movement of loops. Think about that. Every heartbeat, every sunrise, every thought, not moments passing through time, but patterns rearranging in a timeless sea. Loop quantum gravity doesn't just challenge physics, it challenges existence. It tells us that the universe isn't a static structure sitting in an infinite void. It's a living, breathing network of geometry, constantly recreating itself. Physicists like Carlo Rovelli describe it poetically. Space is not a backdrop where the world unfolds. It's a dynamic entity, as alive as the waves of the sea. That's the essence of LQG. Not adding more complexity, but stripping reality down to its raw, vibrating essence. So next time you look up at the stars, realize this. The emptiness between them is not nothing. It's everything. It's buzzing with loops, vibrating with geometry, encoding the structure of existence itself. Every photon that travels across the cosmos, every atom that makes up your body, moves through a vast network of quantum threads. The invisible code of reality. The universe isn't floating in space. The universe is space, woven from loops, pulsing with energy, endlessly self-creating. Maybe, just maybe, the true nature of reality isn't matter, energy, or even time. Maybe it's geometry, pure, shimmering geometry, the silent architecture of existence, and at the smallest possible scale beneath all motion, all thought, all being, you would find not emptiness, but a single loop, a loop of pure space, spinning forever in the quantum sea.